What villain was terrifying because they were right? Magneto is my favorite villain of all time. Every time his motives are brought to light, I get that, yeah, I kinda get it moment. None of you said the most terrifying one. Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls. He wanted to bring free energy and advanced technology to the people. And in one episode he actually did. He made the world an amazing place. And then the Powerpuff Girls ruined it all. Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. Stevie from Wizards of Waverly Place. Her entire goal was to stop families from giving up their magic to just one person in the family. Like, we're really supposed to be rooting against her? It just seems super out of character for Alex to go against that plan. Edit, thanks for all the upvotes. I got to experience seeing something I put on Reddit appear on my FIP on TikTok for the first time, smiley face. See also, Magneto, the Holocaust survivor, not wanting his species genocided. Red Queen Resident Evil, I have locked down this facility to prevent a world-ending virus. Please could you good guys pay attention and not blow holes in the doors. Count Dooku just straight up told Obi-Wan that the Sith control the Senate. Ken from the Bee Movie. I too would go absolutely berserk if a talking bee stole my girlfriend and gaslit me into thinking I was crazy. Arya's parents on Pretty Little Liars. They're villainized for not letting their high school daughter date her teacher? The bears from Goldilocks and the Tree Bears. General Hummel from The Rock. The Hamburglar was just trying to save children from childhood obesity. Gladys, she was absolutely right, you are a terrible person. Colonel Kurtz. We train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write fuck on their airplanes because it's obscene. I wasn't really terrified of it, but N was right in my opinion when we're talking Pokémon. Dude thought getting these creatures and making them fight till one is knocked out wasn't that amazing of an idea, and it just made sense to kid me. That all said, I think N is a really interesting character that can be interpreted in many different ways. Of all the main leaders of these games, I think N had the best argument. It wasn't perfect though. I like N a lot for his character development. I agree with him at the end. Real Pokémon mistreatment should not be tolerated. But a Pokémon trainer simply using Pokémon in battles does not qualify as mistreatment as the Pokémon is happy. The Pokémon like the trainers, that is the best you should wish for there. All in all, I wish Pokémon had good stories and characters like this again tbh. The replicants from Blade Runner. Used as slaves and given artificially short lives. They just wanted to live and be free. King Kong. Not even because he was right. He was just alive. Minding his own business and blam, taken out of his home and made to be the villain without any choice. A real good example of human nature. Edit a word. Maul. His last words before being captured by the Republic was, "You're all going to burn. You're all going to die. You don't know what you're doing." He tried to warn Ahsoka of Palpatine's ultimate plan. But she didn't listen. Roy Batty. What was done to him and his kind was wrong, and he had righteous anger. The Mom and Mrs. Doubtfire. The Boss MGS3. I raised you. I loved you. I've given you weapons, taught you techniques, endowed you with knowledge. There is nothing more for me to give you. All that's left for you to take is my life, by your own hand. One must die and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny. The one who survives will inherit the title of boss. And the one who inherits the title of boss will face an existence of endless battle. Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Bobby Heenan spent the 80s telling us how awful and selfish Hulk Hogan was. Was proven absolutely correct in 1996. In hindsight, Heenan was trying to save us all from the inevitable scourge of Hollywood Hogan. Screenslaver from The Incredibles 2. The monologue given during that movie regularly rings in my head. I'm sure the creepy bass robotic voice doesn't help too. The screenslaver interrupts this program for an important announcement. Don't bother watching the rest. Elastigirl doesn't save the day, she only postpones her defeat. And while she postpones her defeat, you eat chips and watch her invert problems that you are too lazy to deal with. Superheroes are part of a brainless desire to replace true experience with simulation. You don't talk, you watch talk shows. You don't play games, you watch game shows. Travel, relationships, risk, every meaningful experience must be packaged and delivered to you to watch at a distance so that you can remain ever sheltered, ever passive, ever ravenous consumers who can't free themselves to rise from their couches to break a sweat, never anticipate new life. You want superheroes to protect you and make yourselves ever more powerless in the process. Well, you tell yourselves you're being looked after. That you're inches from being served and your rights are being upheld. So that the system can keep stealing from you, smiling at you all the while. Go ahead, send your supers to stop me. Grab your snacks, watch your screens, and see what happens. You are no longer in control. I am. TLDR, you think everything will always be okay, and while you remain distracted, the powers that be will continue to steal from you. Edit. I'm absolutely loving reading through these replies and how varying our understanding of the monologue can be. It definitely was intended to reach all audiences to say, hey, whatever evil you perceived as the problem and whatever super you perceived as the solution doesn't matter as long as you remain complacent. Just love it. Patrick Bateman. What was he right about? How utterly unimpressive he is. The memes about him demonstrates an irony. Patrick is just an empty shell pretending to be a man, obsessed with both fitting in and being better than everyone around him. Yet as he realizes by the end, with the implication he imagined most of what happened, or his father is covering for his insane ass, he comes to the realization he is never going to get what he wants: uniqueness. He's trapped in a world of people as bland and uninteresting as he is. And there's no escape. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin from Spider-Man. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually, they will hate you. Dude was right about how the perception of public figures changes over time. Frankenstein's monster. Adam. Created by a short-sighted, arrogant doctor as the first of his race, then denied the opportunity to be part of a community, of his own, man-made beings, or the human community. He only became monstrous after it became clear that Frankenstein would never create another of his kind, and was driven mad by his desire to punish Frankenstein's hubris. Where is Q from Star Trek? He introduced the Borg just to prove a point. Dracula in Castlevania, the series. Otto from Wall-E. It was one of the only almost perfectly executed villains. He never really talks unless needed because he wasn't programmed to, no malicious motives, does everything efficiently. He's only bad because he's following his programming: protect the humans and don't let them back to Earth. Not out of malicious intent, but it was what he was programmed to do. And his directive isn't even incorrect. Wall-E finding that plant was like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of grain. The planet was nowhere near habitable, and they barely know how to stand when they get back. In reality, nobody on that axiom is going to make it very far. Edit. Some of you missed the main point of the original post and started arguments on how humans could survive, Remember me thinking they wouldn't make it far alone is only any theory, and I'm not saying it's 100% truth, but I'm kinda tired and I keep getting people saying the same thing, so I thought I would just say that so I could go to sleep and hopefully have a couple less people ticked off when I wake up. Then I would had I not said that. Edit 2. Well, I woke up and this comment blew up a bit. Just want to say that contrary to popular belief, I did watch the end credits. It's a Pixar movie. Did you expect them to actually show civilization fail and die? I just had a theory on what would happen if they went with a more grim approach. They could still live, but they also had a chance they wouldn't. Without the couple minutes end credits thrown in at the last second, it's really just an open-ended question I added one of many answers to. Syndrome: when everyone's super, nobody is. Lex Luthor: we're only safe as long as Superman think it's fun to be the hero. I root for Magneto when watching the X-Men movies. He's objectively right, and Days of Future Past proves it. The Red Hood: Batman beats insane people up. They go to Arkham, are usually experimented on there, and come back worse. In a way, that makes Batman one of the worst perpetuators of Gotham's constant decline into savagery. The Red Hood just straight up kills them. Edit: holy shit, I made this post yesterday and expected, well, not 800 upvotes. Not really sure if you can consider him a villain. But Peacemaker, when he went on a rant about Batman causing countless deaths because he refuses to kill supervillains. Terminator 2: it's in your nature to destroy yourselves. Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze: not a true villain but Squidward. Damn, is SpongeBob an annoying neighbor? I'd hate him too. Ozymandias: he outsmarted the most powerful being in the universe, and won. There actually weren't flaws in his logic or execution. The guy in Korra who wanted to end special privileges for benders. Perfectly captured that right idea, fascist execution concept and dread. For all that it mattered, save for a literal deus ex machina, Mass Effect Sovereign was right: you exist because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it. There was no stopping the Reapers. None. Not one iota of legitimate hope. Sovereign laid it out like it was the facts it was, without ego, pride, or delusion. And you knew he was right, too. Gore the God Butcher from Thor Love and Thunder. And hashtag X200B. Even if the end was a bit cheesy, he truly is right and terrifying because of it. The Matrix is Agent Smith: I tried to classify your species. I realized that you're not actually mammals. Every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural equilibrium with their surrounding environment, but you humans do not. You move to another area, and you multiply, until every natural resource is consumed. The only way you can survive is to spread to another area. There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet.